No matter how much you work on yourself, no matter how much you learn, it's never enough. Like you're constantly chasing after that impossible version of yourself who is more productive, who is more knowledgeable, who is more successful, who is more organized, who's more perfect. Are you? Is that what you're doing? Are you really self improving? Or are you just destroying yourself? But no matter what you do, you're still always feeling behind and like you're not good enough. If that's you, please watch till the end and make sure to comment, share your story, let me know what you can relate with. Tell me something about yourself. When was the last time you felt this way or not? I feel like sometimes self improvement or all those self help tips can actually be destroying you, ruining your chances of success, putting you in a burnout. Now, don't get me wrong, growth is a beautiful thing. Growth is essential. Self help is essential. Self improvement is essential. If we go through life without growing, let me tell you, it's just going to be a horrible experience, boring. I mean, actually, come to think of it, no one will ever go through life without growing. When self-improvement turns into self-criticism, consistent self-criticism, not even constructive though, when it makes you feel like no matter what you do, you're never going to be good enough because there's always something to learn, that's a problem. That's a major problem. That's where self-improvement becomes self-destruction rather than growth. I've said it before in another video and I'll say it again. Too much of something is not good enough. When you have too much of something, it's the equivalence of not having at all. We can't live without food. If we starve ourselves, we will eventually die. But before we even die, we're going to suffer because we're going to have a lot of diseases because of self-starvation, because our body needs the nutrients for not only for growth, but to keep going in life. However, even a good thing such as food, when we have too much of it, we're going to get obese. We're going to start having high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, just to name a few. So, too much of anything, even a super good thing, is not enough. Even except for one thing, too much of faith and too much of worship. When you believe in someone, when you believe in God, like I do, that's the only exception that I would say. Too much of that is never enough. We always need more of that. That's another story. I just had to say this. So hear me out here. I've lived through this. I know this firsthand. You can read all the books. You can watch all the podcasts, uh, buy all the courses out there for self-improvement or to learn this or to learn that. Or I have a whole video about this. It's called the shiny object syndrome, where I talk about my online journey when I started a couple of years ago. And I first started by buying a course, and then, which is great because it taught me a lot, then buying another course, and then another one, and then another one. And yeah, I bought quite a few. Because I was constantly looking for that one course that is going to teach me everything. I was constantly looking for that one course or that one digital product that is going to make me a lot of money, just like it's making the others. So, although it was essential for me to buy these courses, or at least a few of them, to learn about digital marketing and to learn about online navigation and all that, a lot of stuff, like a lot, it taught me a lot, right? It taught me things that I never would have learned if I hadn't purchased those courses. It got to a point where I had the shiny object syndrome and FOMO, fear of missing out, that every new product out there, every new promising product out there, I had to buy it because I had to learn. I don't want to miss out. What if there's a secret in there that is going to be the answer to all of my issues? That is going to be my way to success, like taking a speed pill. So, too much, of course, buying courses or coaching programs and what have you, too much of that is bad for you. It's wasting your money, it's wasting your energy. We got to a point where I wasn't learning anything new anymore. I truly wasn't. Every course was a replica of the previous one, more or less, with just a little bit of differences here and there, maybe in terms of delivery. The person who's delivering or who's reading out or giving out the course, teaching the course. Other than that, honestly, I was not learning anything anymore. So, too much of that. You need to know when to stop. You need to know when to start. Listen, you could learn all the skills in the world. You could listen to all the tips in the world, just like all the YouTube channels giving tips on YouTube growth are super useful, and I'm very thankful for them. And although I don't give tips on YouTube growth, but I do discuss my journey and I'll discuss my ups and downs in order for you to learn from my mistakes. And I highlight my wins, because I want you to learn from that. But I'm not sitting here pretending to be a YouTube guru. But honestly, all of those videos are becoming ridiculously repetitive. Every person is copying the other, and then they're copying themselves as well over and over again. But don't get me wrong, I'm not attacking them. I'm still a big fan of YouTube tips. But what I'm trying to say is, even those, although things changed with YouTube, so it's essential to keep up to date, but even those become super repetitive. So I've drawn the line. I don't watch these videos like I used to before anymore, because I'm not growing anymore. They're not serving me anymore. I'm past that point. So, yes, it's important to learn. Yes, it's super important to grow and to self develop, right? But you got to know when to stop. You got to know when to maybe even pivot. You got to know when to start. Let me give you an example. Let's say it's a medical student. He or she is going to medical school. They graduate with honors. They become a doctor, a medical doctor. But he or she chooses that they do not want to work in medicine. They want to go in aesthetic medicine. I know at least two doctors who graduated and practiced a little bit of family doctor, but then within like the first year or so, they decided they don't want to be a family doctor anymore. They want to go into aesthetics, not be plastic surgeons, but the Botox, the fillers, skin treatments, and all that. Why? Because they don't have an interest. Now let me ask you this: since they're not practicing medicine, are they going to still be doctors? Yeah, they'll still have the title, but are they still going to be able to treat patients? No. I guarantee you that if years go by and they don't practice their medical profession, they are going to lose it. They're going to forget about it. They're going to forget. Anything you learn and you don't put in practice, you will forget about. I promise you that. So if you learn all those skills and you gather all that information for self-help, for self-improvement, so you don't put them to practice, you are going to forget about it. This is going to be like collection items that you buy and you put them on a shelf. They're just going to collect dust because you're not using them. It's not a cup that you're drinking with. It's not a spoon that you used to eat. It's not a fork. You're not using it, you lose it. Okay? So the key here is to, yes, educate yourself. Yes, self-develop, but please use those skills that you're learning. So for the past couple of years, like I just mentioned, I was learning a lot of information. I was learning I didn't even know how to create a reel or how to edit anything like that. I didn't know how to do anything on Canva. I didn't know how to do CapCut, nothing. So it took me, I would say, about 3 years since I've been wanting to start YouTube. I even started about a year and a half ago a YouTube channel this current channel, I started it about a year and a half ago, but I was posting faceless because I was too afraid to be on camera. Then I gave up on that because it didn't work out. It was too much. I couldn't find reliable teams. I don't want to get off topic too much. However, what I'm trying to say is I passed through a couple of years where I kept saying, I'm not good enough. I need to learn more. I even pivoted from YouTube because I found that maybe social media is easier, Instagram and TikTok, because I felt like I wasn't good enough to be on YouTube. Although I did purchase a YouTube course at the time, and I still felt like I'm not good enough to be on YouTube. But you know what? I believe everything happens for a reason to a certain extent. So the fact that I didn't jump into YouTube, I jumped into Faceless, but didn't continue, and then pivoted into TikTok and Instagram for about a year or so. And I think all of that prepared me for this moment, prepared me for this channel. All of that taught me a lot about myself, about who I am, and gave me the confidence to actually finally show up on YouTube. So yes, all the things that I learned throughout the past 2 years, looking things up, how to make money online, how to grow online, how to have a successful business, all those things, how to do YouTube, how to do Instagram, TikTok, Amazon, tons of things. Okay. All of these things, they helped me. They taught me a lot because I knew nothing about any of that stuff 2 years ago. I promise. I started with zero information, with zero experience. I never even used to post on social media at all, not even like personal things, not even for family and friends. So although they did teach me a lot, but for the longest time, I just wanted to learn, consume more. And I never bothered applying. I was still too afraid to apply because I didn't have the confidence. But when I finally decided that I've had enough of learning, because I learned everything there's out there to learn in theory, and I understood and I believed and I was convinced that the true learning, at this point at least of my journey, happens only when I start doing. That's when I decided to start YouTube. That's when I was ready because it was up here. I understood that I have to start in order to learn more. And in this 2 months, in this past couple of months that since I've started being with my face on YouTube, I promise you, I've learned. I'm not going to say I've learned more, but I have learned things that I would never have learned had I not started. Because some things we will only learn when we start doing. Doing will teach you so much more than learning. A lot of times, all it takes is one person to give you a chance in a certain job, in a certain field, even if it's a skill, and they'll give you a chance and they'll teach you. So learning doesn't just come in theory. If you don't do, there's going to be so much that you're leaving out on the table. And with all the things that I kept wanting to learn last year, just one more course, just one more digital product that's going to teach me, that's the key, that's the answer. You know what? That ended up making me feel exhausted, drained, overwhelmed. And you know what? I gave up. In December of last year, 2023, not 2024, I gave up. I stopped the social media thing after about a year. I decided it's not for me. It's too much. I can never do it. I'm never going to succeed. I've seen a little bit of success, but nothing like I wanted. So I gave up. So that's what ends up doing. If you want to continue just learning and self development and self help, you are going to ruin yourself. You are going to destroy your life. You are going to destroy your chances of success because you're not allowing yourself to move on and to actually start doing because you feel you're not good enough. So learn all you want, make all the plans you want. But if you don't start doing, you're not going to get the results. But here's the truth. At this point, you don't need fixing. You've already learned a lot. You are not a project. Because when we treat ourselves like a never-ending self-improvement project, like a never-ending to-do list, you're going to lose sight of the fact that you're already worthy. Look at you. Look at all the things you've already learned. And you forget the fact that you will keep learning even more valuable information as you start doing. When you start executing what you've learned, you're going to grow even more. Believe it or not, you will. So get that courage and just start YouTube, start working on that thing, that skill that you've been learning all about for the past year or a few months. Start doing. So like I always say, knowledge is power. But if you don't put that knowledge into use, it becomes useless. So what am I trying to say here? The obsession of wanting to always become better can actually keep you getting stuck right where you are. This is what you're thinking. I'll take that risk when I'm more prepared. I'll put myself out there when I'm perfect. I'll start that YouTube channel when I'm more confident, when I lose 20 pounds, that 20 pounds that I've been wanting to lose for a few years, when my skin looks better, smoother, and less wrinkles. But that day never comes. And before you know it, you would have spent years trying to be ready that you never actually take that leap and start. Doesn't feel good. Believe me. I look back at myself and I say, if I had started YouTube 2 years ago, where would my channel have been today? But it's okay. I hate the what ifs. Should have, could have, would have. I hate that. So I'm going to keep myself in now. I'm going to keep myself in today. No more looking back. So what if we stopped trying to perfect ourselves and start accepting ourselves? What if we let ourselves grow from a place of love and appreciation for self instead of fear and doubt? What if we stopped waiting to feel ready and start imperfect, not ready, not even confident, because confidence, believe me, will come with time, with action. Confidence will come when you set a goal for yourself and actually do it. When you say, I'm going to do this and do it, this is going to give you confidence. Confidence will come as you start doing YouTube. You start learning, and the more you learn, the more confidence you're going to have. Because you're learning by doing, not just by hearing other people give you tips or reading. You're learning by doing. This is the most precious thing of all. So you're going to start messy, imperfect. You're going to mess up a lot, especially at first, but you're going to be real. I believe this is the key to success in anything in life, is maybe not everything, but at least online, your online journey. Be real. Be your authentic self. Don't be anyone else. Be your authentic self. You've gathered enough information over the past year or so. Now apply it, and apply it by being yourself. Through being yourself, people like authenticity. I like authenticity. I don't even know. I was never good at pretending. I was never good at being a hypocrite. And that's why a lot of my bosses didn't like me, because I didn't suck up. I didn't always give them what they wanted to tell them what they wanted to hear. I am my authentic self. I always did my best, but it wasn't always seen because I was never loud. I was never boasting. But online, I feel it's different. YouTube offers us the platform to be authentic, to reach people like us who are going to relate, who are going to appreciate this because that's exactly who they are and how they feel. Self improvement isn't a bad thing, it's actually a great thing. As long as you know that you're good enough. If you're good enough to learn, you're good enough to apply and to start. As long as you don't allow it to stop you from doing or starting that thing that you've been learning all about. So start right here, right now, because the sooner you start, the sooner you do, the sooner you apply what you've learned, the better you're going to feel about yourself. The more you're going to grow, the more confident you're going to be, and the happier you're going to be because you're going to get closer to the life you want. This is Christy. Thank you so much for being here, for watching my video, for liking, subscribing, commenting. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for showing up, not because you need to be fixed, but because you deserve to grow from a place of love. So if this message resonated, if you like what you hear, let's keep this conversation going down in the comments. Share your experiences, your thoughts with me. Let's learn and grow together. I'll see you on the next one.